Good morning to all. Today I am going to present my paper on fire ecology. Rising temperature also means more wildfires. The abstract of my paper is perhaps the satellite image most often associated with wildland fire is one of destruction. While it is true that fire has a great potential for the destruction of homes, wildlife, and even human life, fire is just one of many natural forces within ecosystems. Next, what is fire ecology? Fire is a natural component of many ecosystems, which includes plant and animal that interact with one another and with their physical environment. Fire ecology examines the role of fire in ecosystems. Fire ecologists study the origin of fire, what influences spread and intensity, fire's relationship with ecosystems, and how controlled fire can be used to maintain ecosystem health. The physical and natural nature of fire. For fuel to ignite, it must be heated in the presence of oxygen to the ignition point or kindling temperature. Wood must reach about 800 degrees Fahrenheit to burst into flame. As the wood is being heated to this point, it dries as water, oils, and resins are boiled away. The chemical structure of the fuel is broken down and flammable gases are produced. The ignition of these flammable gases is known as flaming combustion. Flaming combustion transforms the surface of the wood of charcoal at cooler temperature. Growing combustion consumes charcoal, producing ash, water, and carbon dioxide. Many factors such as fuel, weather, topography, and fire history influence the probability of ignition and combustion. Fire behavior. Fire behavior is most often described by intensity and spread. Many factors influence this behavior. 5 factors that influence intensity are available fuel, moisture, and temperature, fuel composition, wind, and topography. Available fuel is quantified by size and arrangement. The effect of fire on ecosystems. There is much yet to be learned about how wildland fire affect ecosystem. This is in part because each fire and each ecosystem has unique properties. However, some generalities can be made. Mosaic pattern. Wildland fire creates a mixture of totally burned, partially burned, and unburned section called a burn mosaic. The varying degrees of burn are a result of many factors including wind shift, daily temperature changes, moisture levels, and varying chemical composition of the vegetation. The burn mosaic results in varied regrowth, a rate that creates a vegetation mosaic. Soil condition. Wildland fires can be both a detriment and a benefit to soil. The soil can become more nutrient rich after a fire due to the high mineral content of the ash and charcoal, and also due to the warm moist condition that increase microbial activity. Animal population. Some animals will perish in wildland fires, especially small animals, insects, and older and weaker individuals. However, fire has a greater effect on habitat than on individual. While the vast majority of large mammals are able to flee fires, population often suffer substantial losses in the month following a fire due to a loss of food sources. Next, plant population. Vegetation composition is one factor that determines how a fire behaves. The fire behavior in turn determines the extent to which the plant population are affected. The more intense the fire, the more vegetation is killed. The initial vegetation losses may look harsh, but the reduced number of trees and shrubs minimize competition among the surviving individuals. Fire regimes. Fire regimes are the pattern of wildland fire that include factors such as frequency, extent, intensity, types, and season. Regimes are varied ecosystem because each ecosystem has a different composition and structure determined by climate condition, vegetation types, and ignition sources. Lodgepole pine. The lodgepole pine is a dominant tree of the northern United States and Canada. A lodgepole stand may live 250 to 400 years. During the first century of the stand's existence surface, fires are unable to climb into the forest canopy because the lower branches of a lodgepole die and drop off as the tree grows taller. Slowly, shade-tolerant spruces and firs start to grow on the dark floor of the stand, blocking out the sun and preventing lodgepoles from sprouting. Next, I am going to present the influence on wildlife, wildland fire. The way a fire operates is largely determined by a region's wildlife. Altering these biotic components impact the fire's effect. Humans have had on the greatest influence on the biota of ecosystems. Prescribed burn and the reintroduction of fire. One of the first fire management practices of the United States government was one of total fire suppression. In the 1930s, researchers began to challenge this policy and argue that in some regions fire was an element essential for ecosystem to thrive. In the 1950s and 1960s, national parks and forests began to experiment with prescribed burning, the practice of intentionally igniting wildland fires and permitting naturally occurring fires to burn. Now I have present the conclusion of the paper. One goal of prescribed burns is to begin to restore the natural fires regime in areas where fire suppression has been the practice. Ecosystem where fire has been suppressed may take some time and several fires to restore a natural regimes. Therefore, managers attempt to allow only low intensity fire to burn in order to recondition the ecosystem to fire. Where the fuels are quite dense or conditions such as high winds may cause high intensity fires. Fires continue to be suppressed. This strict management makes prescribed burns most useful in ecosystem where the past fire regime was one of low intensity fires. In regions where high intensity grounds fires are the norms, prescribed burns are not as effective. I have given a reference where I have taken the help for preparing the paper. There are 4 books in which I have taken the help. First, the name of the first book is Textbook of Environmental Studies for Undergraduate Courses by Ires Barusa. Number 2 is Environmental Studies, Noyanjyoti Das. Number 3 is Perspective in Environmental Studies, Onubha Kaushik. And the last one is Environmental Studies, R. Rajagopalan. Thank you. I have present the paper for your kind perusal and evaluation. Namaskar.